Hello and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred today in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things I personally find intriguing enough for me to bring to you. The source of this information comes from the smart device application On This Day. The music in the background is Everlasting by Ephixa and Yosef, which I found on the YouTube channel No Copyright Sounds, aka NCS. For links to the app, music, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar. Now let's get on with the show, shall we? Today is Wednesday, aka Wednesday, September 7th, 2016. In 2012, Canada officially cut diplomatic ties with Iran via closing its embassy in Tehran and ordered the expulsion of Iranian diplomats from Ottawa. This happened over nuclear plans and alleged rights abuses from Iran. In 2010, a Chinese fishing trawler collided with two Japanese Coast Guard patrol boats in disputed waters near the Senkaku Islands. In 2008, the U.S. government took control of the two largest mortgage financing companies in the United States, which were Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. In 2005, Egypt held its first ever multi-party presidential election. In 2004, Hurricane Ivan, a Category 5 hurricane, hit Grenada, causing the deaths of 39 people and damaging 90% of its buildings. In 1988, Abdul Ahad Mohammed, whom was the first Afghan in space, returned aboard the Soviet spacecraft Soyuz TM-5 after 9 days on the Mir space station. In 1986, Desmond Tutu became the first black male to lead the Anglican Church in South Africa. In 1979, the Chrysler Corporation requested the United States government for $1.5 billion to avoid bankruptcy. In 1978, while walking across Waterloo Bridge in London, Bulgarian dissident Georgi Markov was assassinated by Bulgarian secret police agent Francisco Giuliano via a ricin pellet fired from a specially designed umbrella. In 1977, a 300-meter tall CKVRDT transmission tower in Barrie, Ontario, Canada, was hit by a light aircraft in a fog, causing it to collapse and the deaths of all on board said aircraft. Also in 1977, the Torrijos-Carter treaties between Panama and the United States on the status of the Panama Canal were signed. Due to this, the U.S. agreed to transfer control of the canal to Panama at the end of the 20th century. In 1961, João Goulart became president of Brazil. In 1953, Garfield Todd became Prime Minister of Southern Rhodesia. Also in 1953, Mohammad Daoud Khan became Premier of Afghanistan. Also in 1953, Nikita Khrushchev was elected first Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. In 1945, Japanese forces on Wake Island, which they had held since December of 1941, surrendered to the United States Marines. In 1940, during World War II, the German Luftwaffe began the Blitz, which was the bombing of London and other British cities for over 50 consecutive nights. In 1936, the last Slilakin, which was a carnivorous marsupial named Benjamin, died alone in its cage at the Hobart Zoo in Tasmania. In 1927, the first truly electronic television system was achieved by Philo Farnsworth. In 1922, the Bank of Latvia was established. In 1921, the Legion of Mary, the largest apostolic organization of lay people in the Catholic Church, was founded in Dublin, Ireland. Also in 1921, the first Miss America pageant, which was a 2-day event, was held in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Strangely, the only contestants came from the United States of America, which is a country which occupies a small amount of space in the continent of America. In 1909, Eugene Lefebvre crashed a new French-built Wright biplane during a test flight at Juvisy, which is south of Paris, becoming the first aviator in the world to lose his life in a powered heavier-than-air craft. I wonder if that's who this guy's named after. In 1907, Cunard Line's RMS Lusitania set sail on her maiden voyage from Liverpool, England to New York City. In 1906, Alberto Santos Dumont flew his 14-bis aircraft for the first time successfully at Bagatelle, France. In 1901, the Boxer Rebellion in Qing Dynasty China officially ended with the signing of the Boxer Protocol. In 1896, the first successful heart surgery was conducted on this date by Ludwig Rehn. In 1876, in Northfield, Minnesota, don't you know, Jesse James and the James Younger Gang attempted to rob the town's bank, but were driven off by armed citizens. In 1873, Emilio Castelar y Ripoll became president of the First Spanish Republic. In 1857, the Mountain Meadows Massacre occurred, in which Mormon settlers slaughtered most of the members of a peaceful immigrant wagon train. And you thought Mormons were polite. No, it's a ruse. It's a facade. In 1822, Dom Pedro I declared Brazil independent from Portugal on the shores of the Ipiranga Brook in Sao Paulo. In 1812, during the French invasion of Russia, the Battle of Borodino, the bloodiest battle of the Napoleonic Wars, was fought near Moscow and resulted in a French victory. I honestly feel sorry for Napoleon Bonaparte. He was the only one in somewhat recent history of that country that had the balls to not surrender, and what did France do? They exiled him. The only thing he did surrender was their policy. Credit for that last sentence goes to Tapioca. In 1778, during the American Revolutionary War, France invaded Dominica in the British West Indies, which was prior to Britain even knowing France's involvement in the conflict. In 1776, according to American colonial reports, Ezra Lee made the world's first submarine attack. This occurred in the Turtle, which attempted to attach a time bomb to the hull of the HMS Eagle in New York Harbor. Despite all this, no British records of this attack exist. How convenient. In 1764, the election of Stanislaw August Poniatowski occurred, whom became the last ruler of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. In 1695, Henry Every perpetuated one of the most profitable pirate raids in history with the capture of the Grand Mughal ships Granji-e-Savi. In response, Emperor Aurangzeb threatened to end all English trading in India. In 1652, about 15,000 Han farmers and militia rebelled against Dutch rule in Taiwan. And in 1228, Holy Roman Emperor Frederick II landed in Acre, Palestine, and started the Sixth Crusade, which resulted in a peaceful restoration of the Kingdom of Jerusalem. And that concludes the show! Once again, don't forget to check the underbar for any links you may be interested in. Don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, especially if you're playing Pokemon Go. You can also rate 5 thumbs and subscribe if you do so wish. For your dose of past events daily, I am Aosander, and you are you! Toodles! In 1909, Eugene Lefebvre created a new French-built right biplane,